You made me feel like love was the home my heart always needed. Your presence was the light that showed me I was never alone. You made me feel like a soul reborn. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. The first thing was how you turned my fears into quiet strength. You made me feel like love could rewrite even the harshest endings. Your love was the fire warming my coldest, loneliest nights. You made me feel like I was seen beyond my flaws and fears. The way you held my heart made me believe in forever again. You made me feel like hope could bloom in the ashes of pain. The first thing was your soul's echo inside my silent darkness. You made me feel like love was a journey worth every wound. Your presence was the calm after a lifetime of storms. You made me feel like I was more than my past heartbreaks. The first thing was the peace you breathed into my brokenness. You made me feel like healing was possible with every touch. Your love was the quiet miracle I never dared to ask for. You made me feel like even silence between us was sacred. The way you saw me healed wounds I thought were permanent. You made me feel like I was a poem written in the stars. The first thing was how your kindness shattered my wall gently. You made me feel like love could bloom in unexpected places. Your presence was a soft prayer my heart whispered for years. You made me feel like I was home, finally, in your soul. You made me feel like my scars were constellations in your universe. The first thing was your love, an invitation to trust again. You made me feel like even broken hearts could dance in moonlight. Your presence was a sacred balm to my restless soul. You made me feel like every breath was a new chance at love. The way you held my silence was louder than any spoken word. You made me feel like love was a soft revolution inside me. The first thing was the way your soul touched the depths of mine. You made me feel like I was the answer to a prayer I forgot. Your love rewrote the story I thought was doomed to sorrow. You made me feel like light could live inside the darkest night. The way you saw me healed wounds hidden beneath my smiles. You made me feel like my heart was a temple and you, a gentle priest. Your presence felt like the universe whispering, "You're not alone." You made me feel like even silence between us was sacred communion. The first thing was the peace your eyes promised in chaos. You made me feel like my soul found a melody it recognized. Your love was a quiet storm, shaking loose my deepest fears. You made me feel like home was a feeling, not a place. The way you touched my heart healed more than just pain. You made me feel like I was the fire that sparked your soul. Your presence was a soft prayer answered in my darkest hour. You made me feel like every scar was a story worth telling. The first thing was how your kindness dismantled my guarded walls. You made me feel like love was a lighthouse guiding lost ships. Your love was a gentle revolution in my broken world. You made me feel like I was a secret whispered between the stars. The way you held my fears made them feel less than terrifying. You made me feel like my soul was finally understood and cherished. Your presence was the calm my chaos desperately needed. You made me feel like healing was possible through your quiet strength. The first thing was your love, soft as a dawn breeze, fierce as fire. You made me feel like even shadows could hold a spark of light. Your touch was a sacred ritual my heart never forgot. You made me feel like love was a refuge, not a battlefield. The way you looked at me rewrote my story of loneliness. You made me feel like hope was alive in your every breath. Your presence was a quiet song my soul needed to hear. You made me feel like I was a poem only you could read. The first thing was the way your love thawed my frozen heart. You made me feel like I belonged in the universe's grand design. Your love was the gentle tide washing away my fears. You made me feel like every moment with you was sacred time. The way you held my silence was louder than any words. You made me feel like love was the answer to my silent prayers. Your presence was a soft light in my darkest night. You made me feel like I was more than my past mistakes. The first thing was your smile, an unspoken promise of hope. You made me feel like every heartbeat was a miracle with you. Your love was a quiet revolution, breaking down my walls gently. You made me feel like I was the home my soul always sought. The way you touched my spirit healed wounds I didn't know I had. You made me feel like even broken dreams could be reborn. Your presence was the calm after a storm I thought endless. You made me feel like love was a light shining in every shadow. The first thing was the way your eyes held a universe of understanding. My dear, the first thing I noticed about you was the way you made me feel seen in a silent world. You made me feel alive in places my heart forgot existed. That warmth you gave me shattered all my frozen fears. Your presence felt like sunlight breaking through endless storms. I noticed the way you stirred a fire where I thought only ashes remained. You made me feel like my broken pieces were art, not damage. The way you touched my soul felt like coming home after forever. You made my heart pulse with hope when it wanted to give up. Your smile whispered promises my mind was too scared to dream. You made me feel like love could rewrite my darkest chapters. The way you held my silence spoke louder than all my words. You made me believe in miracles disguised as everyday moments. I noticed the way your eyes healed scars no one else saw. You made my spirit dance when all I wanted was to collapse. The way you breathed life into my shadowed corners was magic. You made me feel unafraid of falling because you would catch me. That feeling you gave me was a secret language only my heart understood. You made my world brighter just by existing within it. The way you held space for my chaos was sacred grace. You made me feel worthy when I believed I was invisible. The first thing was not your face, but the calm you sparked inside me. You made me feel like a wildflower blooming after a long winter. Your touch was a lullaby to my restless soul. You made me feel more than desire, like I was deeply understood. I noticed how you carried my silence without breaking it. You made me feel like time paused when you whispered my name. The way you saw me was a revolution against my loneliness. You made me feel like love was possible, even in brokenness. The first thing was the way you made my wounds feel safe to open. You made me feel like light survived the darkest nights. Your presence felt like a soft prayer answered by the universe. You made me feel like I belonged in a story I once feared. I noticed how you held my doubts like fragile glass, never shattering them. You made me feel like I was the only poem you wanted to read. The first thing was the way your kindness stirred my buried hope. You made me feel like healing was not just a dream, but a path. Your love was the quiet thunder shaking my guarded heart awake. You made me feel like even silence between us sang sacred songs. The way you touched my soul was a secret gift from stars. You made me feel the truth that I am enough, raw and whole. The first thing was the way you listened to my unspoken fears. You made me feel like my tears were prayers answered by your grace. Your smile rewrote the pain I thought would never end. You made me feel like warmth could live inside coldness again. I noticed the way your love unraveled my walls, thread by thread. You made me feel like I was the melody in your quietest moments. The first thing was how you made my heart skip into the unknown. You made me feel like love was a refuge, not a battlefield. Your presence felt like a lighthouse for my wandering soul. You made me feel like I mattered beyond my scars and silence. The first thing was how you saw the beauty in my brokenness. You made me feel like hope was a breath, not just a wish. The way you held me made my loneliness dissolve into stardust. You made me feel like every goodbye was just a promise for return. I noticed how your love was the medicine for my silent pain. You made me feel like I was the home my heart always sought. The first thing was the calm you brought to my restless nights. You made me feel like even shattered souls could dance in the light. Your love was the soft song my heart needed to heal. You made me feel like love was a safe place, not a risk. The way you looked at me healed parts I thought were lost forever. You made me feel like every scar told a story of survival and love. The first thing was how your presence quieted the storm inside me. You made me feel like I was more than my past mistakes. Your love was the whisper that chased away my darkest fears. You made me feel like I was the miracle I was searching for. The first thing was the peace you breathed into my restless soul. You made me feel like even broken hearts could mend with your touch. Your presence was a quiet prayer answered by the universe's grace. You made me feel like love was a light shining through every shadow. The way you held my silence felt like the safest place in the world. You made me feel like my pain was seen, not judged, and healed. The first thing was how your love opened doors I thought were closed. You made me feel like every heartbeat was a step toward healing. Your love was the compass guiding me out of my darkness. You made me feel like I was the song your soul wanted to sing. The first thing was the way your kindness ignited my fading hope.